Welcome to the Estuary Shoreline Garden, our brand new wetlands landscape here at WWT Slimbridge. One of the main objectives of the project was to create a modern, immersive wetlands landscape with native wetland planting at the very heart of the experience for the very first time. We designed the use of a raft of different, unique planting methods using native, responsibly sourced plants, as well as native wetland plugs that we grow here on site at our Slimbridge nursery. The planting had to create a degree of instant impact to the landscape, as well as allowing the environment to mature, evolve, and simply improve into the future. The garden is extremely visible to visitors of Slimbridge Centre, so we had to ensure the planting design had maximum impact for our visitors for as much of the year as possible, as well as being true to our mission of creating a native wetlands haven. So a fabulous view of the Moon Gate. Our giant limestone rocks, creating our new beach here at the Estuary Shoreline. We'll head underneath our giant walnut tree, which has been at Slimbridge for 60 plus years. You can see some of the wildflowers started to spread some of their seed on the pathways already. So we'll use this to respread on the wildflower meadows at the end of the season to kind of improve its virility. Morning, Mr. Swan. They look really fantastic here with the backdrop of the Moon Gate with the swan. You can see within one season that always looks hugely established. Our sedum top pollinator wall, giving home and habitat for all our pollinators. Our solitary bee houses down the end in this reclaimed oak. Welcome to our wonderful wildflower meadows. These are the real stars of the show, and so they should be. These beautiful species-rich pollinator havens are in decline up and down the UK. In fact, we've lost 97% of our wildflower meadows since the 1930s. This is down to a combination of intensive farming, loss of habitat, climate change, and the decline of traditional land management practices. The meadows in the Estuary Shoreline Garden contain over 75 species of native wildflowers and meadowgrass. Wow! We've created the meadows here in the Estuary Shoreline in two layers. Firstly, we've used 3 different types of UK grown wildflower turf across the landscape. This created a mature meadow effect from day one, although they only improve with age. So this is our first wildflower hero. This is yarrow. You might have seen this around your fields where you live. It's quite a common wildflower. Achillea mellifolium. Botanical name derives from the Greek hero Achilles, who's said to use this to heal soldiers' wounds. It's historically a very useful plant. It's a huge source of nectar for various pollinators, and it can reach around about 1 metre high as its largest. And it's really a beautiful addition to any wildflower meadow. Typical British summer, the heavens have opened. On to our next meadow superstar. This is greater bird's foot trefoil. This is a fantastic attraction for pollinators, so bees, butterflies, moths, a great source of nectar through the season. And this is quite late in the season. This is looking beautiful, full of yellow, a real pop in the meadow. So next, we planted a similar size area with wetland meadow plants grown here at Slimbridge. These were planted as plug plants and are already putting on a beautiful show, but will fill out and mature over the coming seasons to connect the extensive meadow system as one. In the foreground, you can see the beautiful silhouettes, the heads of wild carrot that have gone over. Further on, you can see the tufted vetch, which is a beautiful scrambling perennial with blue to violet flowers, which is a really important food source for wood white and short-tailed blue butterflies, as well as being an all-round food source for bumblebees, butterflies and moths. And in the background, underneath the Moon Gate, you'll see the unforgettable pink shot of colour of the tall, hardy purple loosestrife, with its stunning purplish pinkish flowers. In autumn, it turns into red and orange and is super rich in nectar and attracts brimstone butterflies, red-tailed bumblebees and elephant hawk moths. The next part of the planting was the wetland aquatics. It's a really crucial part of the planting of the garden. As you'll see here, this is flowering rush, which has got a fantastic Latin name, Botamus umbellatus. It's a stunning pond marginal with upright, twisty, grassy, mid-green leaves that turn bronze pink, then dark green as they extend. The stiff stems bearing umbels of fragrant, rosy pink flowers, about 2 centimetres in width in late summer. Its dense foliage provides extensive habitat for a host of animals and is a really important resource for damselflies and dragonflies, providing valuable egg-laying and perching spots for them. And overall, it's just simply beautiful. Next, we look at our native white water lily, which is Nymphea alba. Really excited about this. Because of the bird pressure on site here, we find it really hard to evolve extensive lily pad colonies. So this is our first on here on site on Slimbridge. It's a white flowering, heavily scented flower, which measures up to about 30 centimetres, so a good kind of dinner plate size. It's a fantastic perch for dragonflies, again, a source of nectar for a wide range of pollinators, and importantly, it's a really good water purifier and helps to reduce algae coverage in this water body. The next part of the planting scheme was creating our perennial paradise. These were a really important part of the build because we wanted to have a slightly more formal, impactful area of planting next to the building, but it also had to sensibly evolve into the wildflower meadows that encompassed the estuary shoreline water body. So we used a range of native perennials with a long flowering season that were a fantastic magnet for pollinators and different insects. Used a white, blue, purple and green planting scheme to keep it very impactful and simple. And this is the area you see that leads into our wildflower meadows and the rest of the garden. The palette of native perennials that we used were really important, so we ensured that they were as impactful as possible. So we've used a classic geranium roseanne, which you'll see, a beautiful blue-purple flower that has a long flowering season, which has really wowed us this summer. Salvia caradonna, which is a strong purpley blue perennial. Eryngium bogati, big blue, which you'll see, which is an iridescent blue sea holly plant. Astrantia major, which is a really impactful white flower. Eryngium yuccifolium, which is nicknamed the rattlesnake master. That's a lovely kind of coastal themed perennial, which is again really impactful on our water body. And not forgetting sea campion, which is classic for this coastal planting scheme. We were very fortunate with the estuary shoreline build. There were several large mature specimen trees here in the garden before we started the build. So our glorious birch trees at the back of the garden, our glorious walnut tree, which now our visitors can walk underneath along our ivy wall down to our moon gate and our reserve. As well as using our borrowed large specimen trees that were here in the landscape, we've also added over 20 new native trees into our landscape here at Estuary Shoreline. First up is one of our famous native birches, Betula pendula, beautiful striking white bark with slightly upright habit, green triangular leaves, and in the autumn the colour changes magnificent with the small seed heads on as well. Next up is our golden alder, Ulmus incarna, a tree that reaches between 8 to 12 metres tall and glows in the autumn light. Next up is our beautiful cutleaf alder, which is Ulmus glutinosa. This is a really old cultivar. It's been in growing nurseries in the UK since 1859. It's a fantastic choice for a wet garden with clay soil or a site you don't know what to do with. It's quite a small tree. It does really well in waterlogged ground because it's got nitrogen fixing nodules in its roots, which allow it to colonise effectively. But quite simply, the cut leaf detailing on the leaves is beautiful. Last but not least, a really important tree for wetlands. This is our black poplar, Populus nigra. These days, the trees are few and far between. They can live for 200 years, but sadly, only around 7,000 trees are left in the UK, of which 600 are female. Because of its flexibility, historically it was used for cartwheels, floorboards, and a multitude of other carpentry needs across the UK. But it's simply a stunning tree. Thank you for listening to the story of the Estuary Shoreline Garden. Next time you're in Slimbridge, why don't you pop on down to the Estuary Shoreline Garden and experience our fantastic new immersive wetlands experience.